My name's Dean and I manage the Hertfordshire project, and I get the best part of the day really, because I get to show you the website and show you how fantastic the resource is. Without further ado, this is the DisabledGo website. It's www.disabledgo.com, or you can Google DisabledGo. When you get to the website, this is the homepage that you'll see. We've tried to make it really obvious what it is you're there to do, so we've put in big writing, search for accessible places to go. We've also tried to make sure that it is as accessible as it can be. Obviously it'd be a great shame if we had all this information, but it was inaccessible for people who wanted to see it. So we've actually had the website audited by a company called Shore Trust, who you may have heard of. So what they've done is essentially look at the website using all different screen reading technology, different devices, to make sure that no matter what you're using, no matter what browser or any technology that you're using, the website will display in a way that is suitable for you. We have gone one stage further and we've added a toolbar at the top which is called Recite Me. I don't know if anybody's heard of this. It's a little like BrowserLab, but it actually has a bit more functionality to it. So for example, as soon as you click on Access and Language options at the top, the website can be read aloud to you. You can change the voice to male or female. You can change the speed. There's several different colour contrast options. There's different fonts, including a dyslexic-friendly font, which is very clever. It weights the bottom of each line, so it encourages you to read the next line. There is also language translation as well, 52 additional languages. So if any of you wants to start a new language, you can go on here, translate the access guides and learn German or French or whatever you want to learn. And in a lot of cases, the website will actually speak to you in that language as well. So you'll find that if you go onto our website and you pop something into the search box, if it's in our database, the box will drop down and you can then click to go straight to the venue. So for example, I've put in the search box Hertford, and in every venue that we've got that has that in its name has dropped down and I can click and go straight to it. At the top of the screen is a Places to Go button. If you click on that, it brings up a map of the UK. You can then click on to any area that you want to go to. We cover over 100 different areas all over the UK, so if you want to try somewhere new, this perhaps would be a good place for you to start. Every partner that we work with has their own landing page or hub, which is where we store the venues, and this is Hertfordshire's here. It's been customised with their own branding, and there's a welcome message as well. Just underneath the welcome message, there's different tiles, which is where we store all the venues. So for example, if you're looking for something to do, we've got a tile that's entertainment, culture and leisure. If you click on that, you'll see things like leisure centres, libraries, museums, tourist attractions, restaurants, all that sort of thing. There's also a travel and accommodation tab, and that will bring out things like hotels, train stations, bus stations, that sort of thing. Where the website really starts to shine is when you start to look at a whole host of venues. So for example here, I've gone onto the Hertfordshire homepage and I've clicked on libraries across the whole of the county. And as you can see, that's brought up a lot of entries because there's a lot of libraries in the county, but perhaps you want to only look at libraries that have, for example, an accessible toilet or a hearing loop or provide information in large print, or they have an accessible car park with blue badge bays on site. The real beauty about this is that what you can do is filter by your requirements. Here is our detailed access guide to the Central Library. So we've got photos right at the start, and then we've got the symbols that the venue has been awarded. If you scroll down, the access guide is all in different sections. And the way we do it is a bit like a sort of user's journey when you turn up at a venue. So from turning up and using the car park to accessing the main entrance, and then all the services, and then perhaps the toilets within the venue. So we try to do it as if it's a bit of a customer's journey. So probably the first thing you'll see is the parking. And in each section we try to take photos, so if you don't want to look at all the text, perhaps you just want to look at the photos, and that will give you all the information that you need. But in the parking section we look at how many accessible bays there are. We do actually measure them as well and tell you if there's any drop off on the back or on the sides. So if you're coming in an adapted vehicle and you need to transfer out the side or the rear, you can be confident by looking at the pictures and the measurements that actually that parking space is going to be suitable. When we look at the outside access to a venue, we do cover multiple entrances. So if there's more than one entrance, we'll do them both. And the reason we do that is that depending on what your access requirements are, you may well use a different entrance. So every entrance will be covered on here. But at the entrances, we're looking at whether there's steps or a ramp to actually get to the entrance. And if there are, how many steps are there? What's the height of the step? Are there any handrails? Any contrast markings on the steps? Similarly, if there's a ramp, what's the gradient? What's the length? What's the width? And again, are there handrails present? Once we get to the doors, we start to look at, are they automatic? Are they manual? Are they push, pull? Are they single? Are they double? And once we get into the venue, we start to look at different things. So we'll also look at things like lighting levels and background noise and music. And if there is background noise and music, what are the staff going to say if you, for example, say to them, is it okay to turn that down or off? What are their attitudes like towards that? We also look at signage and wayfinding and how that's all presented. And if information is available in braille or large print or audio in any different format, we'll cover that as well. We try to take pictures as well of every element once you're inside a venue, because it's important to know how much space there is once you get into a venue, particularly if you are a wheelchair user. So we look at things like the furniture as well. So are the table and chairs movable? If, for example, there's a large party of wheelchair users coming to the venue. We have also covered the level change. So, for example, there's steps in the library to go up to the second floor. There's also a lift. So we've covered the steps separately. And then the lift is also covered. And in the lift section, we're looking at how wide the doors are, how wide the space is once you go into the lift, if there's a mirror to aid reversing, any audio announcements, tactile markings, all that sort of thing is covered. So the first thing we look at is the location of the toilet. So where is it in relation to the main entrance? Do you need a key to get into the toilet? And if you haven't got a key, is there a member of staff that you can get that from? We then look at how wide the door is, which way the door opens, how much space there is in the toilet as well, so what's the manoeuvring space, what side the transfer space is on, how high and how low all the fixtures and fittings are, like the sink, the hand dryer, if there's a full-length mirror, and also if that pull cord is actually to the floor. We do also look at the colour contrast in the toilet as well, so what's the lighting levels like when you get in there, and also the colour contrast between the walls and the fixtures and fittings and the door as well, just in case somebody uses it who's got a visual impairment and they might not be able to identify the different fixtures and fittings. So that is a really brief sort of tour of one guide on the DisabledGo Hertfordshire website. As Anna's already mentioned, there are over 125,000 venues on the guides at the moment. There's over 700 venues available in Hertfordshire, and there's going to be more coming very soon. The guides do not just get left on the website and left to go out of date. We will actually be coming back every year and reviewing everything. So every single venue in a year's time will be getting a phone call from us to go through the access guide, make sure it's correct and up to date. And if it isn't, we actually go back and redo the guide. And that's really important, because what we don't want to do is mislead. We want to make sure that everything that we've got on there is as up to date and accurate as possible. Thank you all very much for listening. I'll hand over to Clinton.